Good morning. Good morning. May I ask you to get still and please stand as our graduates approach. You all may be seated. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Okay, so I do this for every cohort graduation, I believe. I am an educator by trade, and so when we welcome our students into the classroom, we want bright, loud, and enthusiastic students. So I will say, good morning.
Good morning, Candace.
Much better. You get the gold star for the day, Miss Ellie. All right, my name is Candace Rashada, and I serve as Career Services Director here at Durham Tech within the division of the Center for Workforce Engagement. That's a very long title to say that I love working with our students towards their success. So you all can go through the goodie bags a little later, but we are here to honor you today. And so, Miss Cat, let me just say that actually, maybe given the hiccup that we had with the entry music, maybe we should have used some Nipsey Hussle and Motivate or Ocean Views for the room. But we are really here to celebrate both to recognize the accomplishments of this stellar class to my left. I may say this for other cohorts, but I promise you, no, I really, in truth and in transparency, have not said this for other cohorts. When I tell you that this has been just overwhelmingly, hands down, the best cohort that has come through this program, I say that with conviction because they have also been the most flexible, accommodating, patient, because you've heard the saying that real estate is prime, right? It's key. We have had such real estate hiccups with classroom space on this campus this semester, but this group has always been, hey, Ms. Candace, don't worry about it, just tell us where we need to go. So much so that their schedules have probably been edited about 4 or 5 times in the 5 weeks that they've been here. But they have come in, risen to the occasion, been engaged, been enthusiastic and excited. So I just want everyone, invited guests, family members, community partners, to give them a round of applause. Before we get too deep into the program, first up, I would like to invite the person who helps support this endeavor in the background. Whenever I ask for anything, I can always go to my supervisor. So I'd like to ask Mr. Jerry Jones to come up and give a welcome from the college.
Good morning again. I guess it is, yeah. We're still technically morning time. But again, my name is Jerry Jones, and as Candace said, the HRD, Human Resource Department, falls under Center for Workforce Engagement, and we are delighted on behalf of President J.B. Buxton, who unfortunately couldn't be here on this time, we're delighted to welcome you to Durham Tech. And we cherish the partnership that we have with Haiti Reborn Justice Movement under the leadership of Steve and L.A. We appreciate you. We appreciate all your hardworking staff, working with our hardworking staff under the leadership of Candace. And we would just like to congratulate the participants, the students, the graduates, and we understand it's not just their achievement, but it's the success of their family, their friends, and all that come together to make this a success. And so I just want to say again, welcome, and we know that this is only the beginning of great things for each of you. Welcome to Durham Tech.
Just a private word, as he was on the approach, he said, "You're just buttering me up to ask for something else, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am, because I believe in the success of this program. I believe in the work that we do as it strengthens our community. And as our community is successful, our state is successful, our country is successful. So you all have some work to do, continued good work. I would also like to acknowledge one of our stalwart supporters in this mission, and just acknowledge the representatives from Representative Valerie Fouchy's office. If you could just please stand so we can acknowledge you. And, Mr. Ronald, you ready? I would like to call up, each cohort has, selects a student representative speaker for them, and this cohort has selected Mr. Ronald Watts.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here on this special day. I am truly grateful to have the opportunity to speak. I first want to thank Haiti Reborn Justice Movement, Durham Tech, and all the partners for this journey. So, clap. This program has been a blessing, offering each of us not only education, but encouragement and inspiration. So thank you. Clap it up again. Classmates, I want to give a special thank you to you guys for the time we spent together. We have built a special bond. You know, we shared snacks, we shared laughs. We even supported each other with assignments that we may have missed, but we stuck to it. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's all right, take your time.
Yes, but those little moments of kindness and connection have made all the difference and created memories that will last. And to our teachers, thank you for your patience and dedication. You're refreshing our minds on things we may have already known and introducing us to new skills and knowledge that will serve us well in the future. Continuing education have not been easy, but the early mornings, the daily struggles, but because of your guidance and encouragement, we made it through. So thank you. Mom, stand up, please. Please stand up for me. Yes. I would like to thank my mom for telling me about Haiti. You know, construction have always been a passion of mine, so me joining Haiti has been a great opportunity for me. And looking towards the future, I'm excited to say that I will be going to HVAC as an HVAC technician. And to everyone who has a dream or a goal, I say keep pushing. Be the person you envision. Take pride in your journey. Own it. Let's inspire and encourage each other to be great. As the chapter closes, a new one opens, and I'm so ready for it with confidence. So thank you again to Hayti, Durham Tech, and all the partners who have opened our eyes to our own potential and helped us realize what we knew was in us all along. Thank you.
Did I tell you this is the best cohort? And it is just a point of personal privilege. It just, one, it chokes me up every time, but two, it is especially special for me because I've known this young man's mom for so very long, and I kept forgetting the connection, and I'm glad I did, because I don't know if you would have made it through if I came and pestered you every week on behalf of your mom. So that's that's absolutely wonderful. So next, I would like to invite up our partner, Ms. Kimberly Walker, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations, Cohort 6.
Yeah.
Each class does have its vibe, and I've just been noticing the different kind of enthusiasm that this class represents. And I think you're the first one that has truly completed all parts of the program, so that is significant in itself. So another round of applause. It is my honor to introduce our inspirational messenger for today. Her name is the Reverend Phyllis Arrington. She was born the 16th sibling of 18 children to the parents of Albert and Isabella Arrington in Nash County, North Carolina. That's a message all in itself. Reverend Arrington embraced and accepted the effectual call into ministry in July 2006. And preached her initial sermon on August 15th, the year after. She was licensed immediately. For more than a decade, Reverend Arrington has served in various capacities in ministry and in the community. She also has a great enthusiasm for building spiritual and community relationships through community outreach, evangelism, and the homeless and jail prison ministries. Reverend Arrington believes in serving those who are disinherited, unhoused, incarcerated, and unchurched by frequently volunteering with community organizations such as the North Carolina Food Bank, Housing for a New Hope, Point in Time Count, and the Durham Rescue Mission. As evidenced by her involvement, she has a strong devotion for preaching and teaching so that all God's children can experience life here more abundantly on earth and in heaven. She currently serves as an associate minister at Union Baptist Church under the leadership of the senior pastor there, Prince Rivers, here in Durham. She is a preacher, teacher, and leader. Reverend Arrington holds a Bachelor of Theology from Apex School of Theology and was a Presidential Honor Graduate. She is a recipient of the National Council of Negro Women Honor Award and is currently serving a second term as the Vice President of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance of Durham and Vicinity, more commonly known as the IMA. Her career with the City and County of Durham spanned 21 years. She served Durham residents through various capacities in the administrative offices of inspections, emergency management, and in the planning department. She retired from IBM Lenovo as an executive assistant, one of only 3 African Americans in that role among 33,000 employees. She serves as administrative assistant support to the chief technical officer and senior vice president. Reverend Arrington is a preacher, teacher, mother, grandmother, and sister. And she is a very loyal supporter of HRJM. So it gives me a great pleasure to introduce my friend, the Reverend Phyllis Arrington.
Mr. Watts, I'm nervous too. If you all don't mind, I'm going to turn this just a little
Look at that. Love it.
because it's all about you all today.
That's right.
But first, let me express my sincere gratitude to the Hayti Reborn Justice Movement family for your graciousness and this very humbling opportunity. I am truly, truly grateful, humbled, and honored. And good morning again, graduates. Before I go on, allow me to tell you a little bit about my story. I just think that if you know a little bit about my story, then our stories can relate. As mentioned, I'm number 16 of 18 children, one mother and one father. Nowadays, it's important to stress that. But, I think about what else did you have to do when you were living on a farm down a long, dark dirt road. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? My parents married when my father was 24, my mother was only 17. Anyway, as number 16, there were 15 children born before me. I'm 2 siblings away from being the last one of 18 and the very last girl of 11 girls. So I caught all my older sisters' clothes and shoes once they didn't fit them anymore. And occasionally a boyfriend. I'm just kidding. But nevertheless, I am the product of sharecroppers. And for those of you all who don't know, I have no idea what a sharecropper is. That's just one step away from being a slave. It means that we lived on someone else's land. We lived in someone else's house. We worked someone else's farm and then gave someone else most of the profits. So that supposedly in return, we were given a small portion of the profits and a place to live. That's my story. But today it's not about me. It's all about you. I just want you and I to be able to relate to one another because I know that some of you all came from humble beginnings as well. See, and I'm not here to preach, but to drop just a few nuggets of encouragement and hope and to let you know that you're well on your way to making your mark on this universe. See, most often on a person's obituary, there's a beginning date and there's an ending date. And in between those 2 dates, there's a dash. Sometimes how you started and how you ended really becomes irrelevant. But what becomes more important is what you did with that hanging dash in between those dates. And I'm not here to talk about what I did with mine or what I'm doing with mine, but it's all about what you're going to do with yours from this point forward. See, in school, we learn how to read and write, how to add and subtract, how to put together a business plan, how to craft resumes, how to be workforce ready. Those are all some great tools to have in your toolbox. But let me ask you something. Where do you go to enroll in that class called Life 101? When life be lifing. Oh. Where are the classes on dealing with the challenges of life? Where are the classes on dealing with the loss of a loved one? Where are the classes on dealing with the failure of a relationship or when you didn't land that job that you nailed that interview in? What about those classes? Let me caution you that now you're getting ready to enroll in those classes. But have no fear, graduates. No matter how hard it gets, there's always a reason to keep going and to stay in the fight because you can survive. And because you've got something unique in you that's going to help you to handle that. Why? Because you've already proven that you are a survivor. I'm sure that there were times when you wanted to give up. Times when you said, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of this. But you hung in there. Times when you were doing all this studying and all the researching and all the testing and all the regurgitating of everything that you had learned. But you are ready. You have a toolbox full of tools that from time to time, you're going to have to go back to that box, pull out some of those tools that are put here, and use it to accomplish those goals that you are seeking. My father had only a second grade education. That means that he was only about 7 or 8 years old when his educational experience ended because he was needed to help on his family's farm. My mother managed to make it to about the 10th or 11th grade. But out of their 16 children that I know of, because 2 of them had already passed by the time I was born, but out of 16 children, 9 of us have college degrees. Wow. 9 of us. And every single one of those 16 children have at least a high school diploma, because quitting was not an option, not in my house. It was because my uneducated father and semi-educated mother pushed education. I can still hear my mother saying, listen, once you get it here, no one can take it, no one can sell it, no one can misuse it, and no one can own it but you. And you, my dear graduates, have accomplished that, but it's not over. Quitting is not an option. I was so glad to hear you say that you're going on to HVAC. And you got to push on. This is not the end of the game here. I want you to remember that when life be lifing, first of all, that no condition is permanent. Situations come and situations will pass. Some of you all may be familiar with that biblical. I said I wasn't preaching. Some of you all may be familiar with that biblical character by the name of King David. See, there was a point in his life when things really went bad for him, even being a king. And David had to go off to himself and encourage himself. And there are going to be times, graduates, when you're going to have to step away from family, step away from friends, go off to yourself and encourage yourself. Nelson Mandela, who was South Africa's first democratically elected president, was imprisoned for 27 and a half years because he dared to be an anti-apartheid revolutionary and political leader. It was written in his memoir that there were many times as he sat in that jail cell for 27 and a half years that he had to have conversations with himself. My pastor made a profound statement yesterday when he said that people with purpose last longer than their problems. I want y'all to grab that. People with purpose last longer than their problems. You and I and our ancestors as a people have dealt with some unique experiences. We've dealt with racial bias, economic bias, housing bias, and certainly educational bias. And it's because of these unique life experiences that we sometimes use an alternative solution to a problem rather than to handle it with a radical solution. But we have to remember not to let those unique experiences cause us to fall backwards, but rather to fall forward. Don't fall back into those old days of doing things, to those old habits, or even to those old places, people, and things. I can't predict that what's going to happen these next 4 years in this country. But believe that if you can hold on to what you have gained from this program and apply yourselves, no devil from hell can keep you from accomplishing what you set your mind to do. You know, it's wonderful to have people who believe in you. We all need that. The teachers, the staff, Mr. Chalmers, Miss L.A., they all believe in you. Your loved ones sitting out here in this audience, they believe in you. The administrators of Durham Tech, they all believe in you. Your mamas and your daddies and sisters and brothers and even your boo believes in you. But let me tell you something. None of that means anything if you don't believe in yourself. So don't allow others to validate your worth. Don't allow others to validate who you are or what you can accomplish. You are a new creature, wonderfully made. And the people who say they're riding with you, if they can't believe that or refuse to see that in you, then they need to get to stepping. Believe in yourself. And believing in yourself requires knowing that your life has value and knowing that there's a purpose and a plan that's already laid out for your life. It means knowing that it's been promised that you will prosper, that no harm will come to you, and that you have a future and hope. But it's not going to be just laid down and laid out for you. Fannie Lou Hamer once said, "You can pray until you faint. But unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to lay it in your lap. You must do your part. Your plan has to be in alignment. You have to have a vision. And I don't mean just up here in your head. You have to write out your vision." Listen, we should all be concerned about what happened on Tuesday, November 5th. But even with that disastrous outcome, we must never forget where we came from and always praise the bridges, mamas, that brought you over. Now it's time for you to begin to build. You've been given a solid foundation. No future can be built on a foundation of sand. It's okay to dream. But like Yoko Ono once said, a dream that you dream alone is only a dream. But a dream you dream together is reality. Your freedom is tied to the person sitting right beside you. And you're not free until they are free, Mr. Watts. You pointed that out, and I appreciate that. On one Sunday morning in March of 1965, some 600 people attempted to cross the Edward Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. But they were attacked and beaten by racist police and others, and the march ended just 6 blocks in. But just 14 days later, led by Dr. King, they went back and they made a successful march across that same bridge. You all have crossed your Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'm sure that it got hard, and there were probably times when you wanted to give up. But you stayed in the fight because something inside of your very soul told you not to give up. And everyone here is telling you, don't give up. You're at a threshold of change in your life. And let me say this to you before I take my seat. Dr. King once said, "Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, just be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are." Again, thank you all for listening, and may many blessings of peace and love continue to reign in each one of your lives. But remember, be the best that you can be. Thank you.
Rising. Grand Rising. All right, you all are in the room. Very good. I'm Vega Swepson. I am a resource specialist and an instructor here at Durham Tech Community College, and I had the honor and pleasure to work with this amazing group. I had to stand because you all just don't know. When we said you all were great, you've set the bar really high for the folks coming behind you. I appreciate your dedication, and so I'm here to talk a little bit about what we did with these folks while they were here for the past 7 weeks, give or take. Okay. So one of the first things we did, we met a bunch of you at the orientation. Is that not right? Then we had you all come over to do our what we call our pivot assessment. So in that assessment, I'm going to be quizzing actually. I'm going to follow the lead of our speaker. I'm going to turn right to you all. In that assessment, Ms. Johnson, I have two Ms. Johnsons, so I'm going to pick on Christina. What was that assessment all about? What was that assessment about? What did you find out about who?
We did assessments on jobs in Pivot, and we found out like what jobs would be perfect for us.
Absolutely, very good. Very good. So we're preparing individuals for varied opportunities is what Pivot is all about, and that was a perfect description. So that's what we did at first. We were together in Pivot. Then we spent a little bit of time in Working Smart. And so Working Smart helps us to be better employees as well as better people. It actually peels back layers. It helps us to identify where our values came from and how to make those appropriate decisions in all kinds of life situations as well as in the workplace. So we spent a little time in that particular class. Travis, what stood out to you in that Working Smart class?
Communication skills, just how to act, how to carry yourself.
Absolutely.
What they expect, how to handle other people as well.
Very good. Oh, I got some A students, don't I? Absolutely. Thank you, Travis. Absolutely, that is it. And one of the other things, two other things I like about that Working Smart is code switching, as you indicated, how to respond appropriately, and the cognitive cycle. I spoke about values and how we believe what we believe, and so we spent a lot of time on that as well. Something else that you all have done while you've been here with us is technology in the workplace with Ms. Boyd. Okay, Mr. Ron, what was that all about?
It's just showing us how to, correctly use the computer, how to type letters, how to make flyers, and things of that nature.
Very good, absolutely. Spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets. Yeah, even working on your resume. Absolutely, very good. So you also did Achieving Platinum Placement. Ms. I'm going to get Miss Other Johnson, Miss Nicolette Johnson. What was that platinum placement?
That was the week I was.
She was on a birthday vacation. How dare she? So, Mr. Jamal, platinum placement with Miss Germany. What was that all about?
It was going over finances, credit.
Oh, making your dollars work for you. Absolutely. Go ahead, continue.
Dollars work for you.
Okay, okay. And so the platinum placement at NC Works Careers,
And we
Ms.
had a
Katisha.
vision board, too.
You had vision board. Funny you should say that, because there's a vision board in this room right now. Ms. Katisha. Ms. Katisha, yes, over there in that corner. Can you go get that vision board? I appreciate you. Picking on her, she didn't even know it. So Ms. Katisha's vision board. Yes, be like Vanna White. Yeah, we did. So just talk a little bit about what you have here. What are some of your things?
The Gold Series collection. I'm a mom of 3. Bella's Vegan Desserts and Treats. It's cooking hacks. I stand on business. The Freedom Issue is also talking about Miss Virginia Williams, who did the ice cream boycott, I believe in Black families.
So as you can see, she has an entrepreneurial spirit. Is that not right? And this is her vision. She's currently you're very engaged in this right now when it comes to your vegan treats. Is that right?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. okay, we did Making Your Dollars Work for You, the NC Work Careers, and then doing your assessment that helps employers kind of know where you land in terms of your skills and abilities. You also remember spending time on the computer, coming in, doing your math, reading, and yeah. And so I want to give a shout out when it comes to the NC Works highest score. There's a platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. Mr. G, where's Mr. G? Did you reveal that information? You didn't reveal that information, did you?
We had quite a bit of silvers at the top high polls, so we're very proud. And I think that the bronze we had gave the opportunity for them to be able to redo it again, and we got silvers.
Yep. And that gold recipient, I want you to stand. Right? Don't wave, raise your hand, stand up. Our gold recipient. Very good, very good, very good. One of the other important things that we do once we have you go through these classes, we spend time one-on-one talking about your pivot assessment and talking about how Durham Tech and Hayti can assist you with your next steps. Did we not do that? We did. And so folks have already carved out where they want to land, and that's our academic advising piece. All right? We're here to support. We're excited about what you're going to do next. And one of the things that we want to brag about, again, with this class, we had some star students who didn't miss a day. Now, you know that speaks volumes. That says a lot about folks because, like our speaker said, life is life, and they did not miss a day. So we have our perfect attendance folks, Miss Christina Johnson, Jamal Robinson, and Mr. Ronald Watts. And I want to also just mention this person who had that bubbly spirit, who was very giving. She's looking, put her head down. Miss Katisha, she was very energetic, so we just want to acknowledge you. How you were a participant in class, you were always 100% there, and we appreciate that because you made the class continue to roll on, so thank you for that. Okay, so next steps. We're excited about your next steps. You know where to find myself, Miss Candace, Mr. G, Miss Patricia, and you don't get rid of us that easily. You will forever be our student. And speaking of forever being our students, I guess I can let the secret out. Ron, your mother was one of my students. We didn't tell you that. We kept it a secret. we talked on the phone. I said, let's not tell him a thing. Let's let him get to graduation, then we'll let him know. So she is a product of Durham Tech as well. And so see how that works out. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
I just want to take another point of personal privilege while the team assembles to do that most important work of bestowing our graduates with their certificates. Just taking 2 steps back to talk about the career readiness certificates and the WorkKeys assessments that we were just mentioning. So the levels are bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And it is a nationally recognized certification. It was developed by ACT, the test people. I know everyone who knows anything about college entrance knows about the ACT. So this is an ACT assessment for workplace readiness. So the levels are that at bronze, that someone who scores bronze across 3 assessments, workplace documents, which is basically reading comprehension, applied mathematics, which is mathematics in the workplace, and something called graphic literacy, which is the ability to extrapolate or pull information from charts and graphs and tables. So those are the 3 assessments that make up the scoring that can give you a bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. And again, it's a nationally recognized credential. There are employers and businesses across the country that either use it for hiring purposes, so that if you score at a certain level, you may get preferential treatment in terms of hiring purposes. There are companies who use it once you are hired to have you enhance or be promoted into another position. It is something, so our local companies here, Burt's Bees, owned now by the Clorox company, uses it as a pre-hiring tool. And there are companies across North Carolina that use it in various ways. Why am I giving you all of this background? Well, let me just say this. This is the first time, so we've had all of our cohorts do it. But again, this class was so enthused and engaged and always wanting to learn more, know more, do more, that I said, if you guys want to take it, because we have them study, but we don't have all cohorts take it, but if you guys want to take it, I'd be willing to pay for it for you. So they took it. This is the first cohort that, because we can see their scores as they're practicing, this is the first cohort that scored at least a bronze. Wow. That is worthy of a handshake. What that actually says is that those who score at least a bronze can do about 70% of the work responsibilities in the work titles, the 750,000 plus work titles across the United States, right? Wow. At bronze. Silver, which is where most North Carolinians, doesn't matter how you come in, where you practice and take, silver is where most Carolinians score. So we had quite a few, the majority of our students scored at silver. That is 80% of those job title responsibilities. When you get into gold level, you are well on your way. You are well on your way. And I will tell you, we've been doing CRC since 2008, 2009. I can count the number of gold level recipients that we have had. And to a person, they've gone on to do great things. Just as an example, we actually have UNC med students who have to take it as a prerequisite at one point for going on to classes. And I can tell you not all those med students scored gold. We've had a couple of platinums. I've had probably 3 platinums in all these years. But I really just wanted to remark on the incredible achievement that these students have accomplished in doing those assessments, because even some of our silver recipients, and we can talk about this afterwards, were very, very close to scoring gold. Wow. So I think I saw another gold recipient walk in the room. I'm going to so put her on the spot. One of our previous cohort members, where, Miss Lakia Dixon, I see you looking at the wall. I'm still committed to getting this young lady into med school, and she knows that every day. But listen, so without further ado, I just wanted to really highlight that because I think it is such an important piece, and it speaks so highly to this class. So I will step out of the way, and we will continue with our presentation. When the Paytime representatives come up, come on up. Can you introduce him? Say who he is. Come on and tell the people who you are.
All righty.
Introduce yourself, sir.
I will introduce myself quickly. Good afternoon. Is it? Well, good morning still. My name is Brandon. I am one of the care management organizers at Haiti Reborn Justice Movement. I want to thank all of the family and friends of the participants that came out. Y'all are the reason that they are here. Give yourself a hand. To the faculty and staff of Durham Tech, This partnership is one of my favorite things about working here at HRJM. So y'all make my days a lot better. So give Durham Tech a round of applause again. And to the HRJM staff, love y'all. We family. All right. We're gonna call out names over here. When you hear your name called, feel free to clap, holla, whatever you want to do. They deserve it.
Absolutely. So our first honoree is Miss Katisha Burns. Mr. Anthony Dandridge. Mr. Anthony. You gotta get me straight, Mr. Anthony. Good job. Miss Christina Johnson. Mr. Jamal Robertson. Mr. Punctuality. He's always early to class. Yes, always. Mr. Travis Slaughter. Mr. Travis kept us in lively conversation, passionate conversation. Always. And last, Mr. Ronald Watts. Let's give these folks another round of applause. Good job.
Look at that. My people. I remember the first day. Love them babies right there, boy. Feel like a proud mama whenever we have this day. All right. There's two quotes I want y'all to remember. The first one is by Brian Stevenson, civil rights attorney. Brian Stevenson said, each of us is more than the worst thing we have ever done. Right? Each of us is worth more than the worst thing we've ever done. Building an architectural physical bridge is a complex task. And it requires a combination of engineering, science, planning, Bridges must be able to withstand a variety of weather conditions, span long distances, and cross challenging terrain. But a person does not have to be an engineer, a brick mason, or a skilled artist to construct a strong, functional bridge that connects communities and brings people together. You are sitting beside people right now that you will remember for the rest of your lives. And that is invaluable. We can build essential bridges that last a lifetime and that change the human condition and landscape simply by extending a helping hand. That is the very essence of the heart of HRJM. To Cohort 6 honorees, HRJM, Durham Tech, and the greater Durham community collectively extend our hands to congratulate you on this milestone. In so doing, we are hopeful and trusting that each of you will put your skills, your resources gained in the program, and as was said previously by Ms. Vega, we continue to be your resource. You're stuck with us now. You don't get to leave. HRJM's committed to your continued success, but you must continue to take the initiative, remember we talked about that, and do the work required to reach your goals. I can want it for you, but I can't want it for you more than you do, right? HRJM will continue to be supportive by being attentive and responsive to the factors that motivate and that may hinder your progress. In closing, I want to extend some thanks to Mr. Ronald Watts, who got up there and did his thing. Our keynote speaker, Reverend Phyllis Arrington, sister. Durham Tech for their partnership in implementing the bridge program. I remember whenever us and Ms. Rashada, we were just sitting there thinking it all out. And HRJM staff, my people. HRJM's tagline is that we're rebuilding our village one bridge at a time. Our motto is unprecedented work, it's uncharted territory that is definitely not for the faint of heart in these challenging times. And every single time I feel like that I am completely exhausted, we have one of these graduations. And I am revitalized. So I thank you. Some think the power of the police is the only answer to the challenges plaguing our community. And others believe it simply takes tolerance and that we can love it away. But HRJM knows that it takes both. In the words of bridge builder elite, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, he said, "Power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love." Thank you.
Good morning still. All right, we on target, and again, congratulations. Good to see you folks. This is a big day. This was my day to chill. I did the last one. This was LA's. Now, of course, they got me up here front and center. But one of the things, as most of you know, is that Haiti Reborn Justice Movement, what we do is build partnerships. That's right. And when we start to look around at each graduation, we always have our partners to kind of come back and share in this glory. So I'm been asked to recognize some of the partners, and I usually have Kim to write them down so that I don't forget anybody. But again, I want to recognize, of course, Congresswoman Fushi's office. You guys stand up. We want to recognize. Thank you so much. Been with us from the beginning. Lou Myers is here. Lou, stand up. Lou wears a few hats here with the National Institute and also Self-Help Credit Union. All of these folks are coming to the table to kind of work with us. We've got Miss Phyllis Thornton. Stand up, Phyllis, and be recognized. Phyllis is also with the National Institute on Minority Economic Development, working with us to kind of help build some entrepreneurship, because we got some great minds, folks. These folks can have their own businesses. So we want to kind of acknowledge her. Who else do we have as new? We got a potential partner, Miss Jessica Morales. Would you stand up, Jessica? And Jessica does a number of things to include being a certified, what is this? What do you think it is? She works with changing mindsets out in the community and working with folks. But again, as I look around, if I'm missing anybody, staff, any other partners here with Hayti Reborn? Okay, but again, there are a lot more that are, that were not able to come here. Of course, this Durham City and also Durham County, which are basically right now our major funders to kind of keep the doors open and keep these kinds of activities going. So again, the one thing I was kind of close with though, folks, is that this is not about Durham Tech, Hayti Reborn, and these partners. It's about the total community. So as you identify, and if you know of any other, and I've already talked with some folk today, they are already going to be bringing some more folk to the table to help us with our apprenticeship programs and things like this. This is on all of us. And this is just pretty much kind of synonymous with who we are and how we've gotten to where we are as a people. Is that we partner, we build a village, we build a support system, and that's what we are building with Hayti Reborn. So help us build this system. Help us build the support that we need to make certain that these individuals and others that have gone before them and that will follow them have the support they need in order to be successful. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you again.
Okay, I stand between you and the refreshments, so I will be brief in closing us out. I just want to acknowledge some folks in the room and have a few words. So let me start with our graduates, because although I get to come in and do just a first welcoming speech with you all, I remember it was in Building 9, room 235. And I mentioned that because when I talked about real estate before, that's the room that seemed to bounce us around the most. But I got to meet you there for the first time, and then I would just kind of see you in the hallway, talk with your instructors about what was going on, and just every once in a while also interface with Hayti just to make sure that we were on track. But I observed you. And one of the things that I wanted to mention was, just something special that I saw in kind of each of you. I'm going to start with Mr. Travis, because I said to Mr. Travis, I want to talk with you. I want to make sure we connect after this. Mr. Travis, I'm looking forward to engaging in political discourse with you, because I think you have a lot to talk about, and I think you could be a very influential leader in this community if you want to be. So I want to talk with you about that. Mr. Jamal Quiet Riot, always, again, on time, showing up, just always pleasant. So the two Miss Johnsons, I call them Miss N. Johnson and Miss K. Johnson. Miss N. Johnson, I'm sorry, C. Johnson. Miss N. Johnson, I was had a little hesitance about you because I know you came in saying, well, I'm not going to be here this week because I have my trip planned. And I said, okay, yes. I said, okay, but that goal, wow. Right? So just looking for amazing things from you. And I call her Miss Cat. I just wanted to say Miss Cat. Your entrepreneurial spirit just shines through with everything that you do and say. All right, so I'm wishing the best for you. I want to make sure I get Miss C. Johnson. Always, so perfect attendance, but not just perfect attendance. She would show up every day, mainly on time, but always with a pleasant and upbeat spirit, smile, and always asking questions about what's next. I really, truly appreciate that. And last but not least, not last, Mr. Ronald, your speech was amazing, but I knew that. I knew that coming in because you always carry yourself with a dignity. When I went to the room the last time we all met and I talked with them, I said, hey, so are you all thinking about who your speaker's going to be? And to a person, they said, Ronald. So it was unanimous. And so certainly last but not least, I want you all to acknowledge something. So Mr. Anthony was here this morning. The students were asked to be here at 9 o'clock, even though graduation was at 11, because we want to make sure that they're here. So Mr. Anthony was here, but Mr. Anthony had a new job orientation that he needed to complete. And so we talked about it, and I said, well, this is important, do what you have to do. So we weren't even sure that we were going to see Mr. Anthony come back. But this was important to him as it was for us to see him finish this. And so he is back. And again, this just goes to show you, one, how great and how much I love this group, but his dedication, and we're just looking forward to wonderful things for him. So let's give them a round of applause again. Reverend Arrington, I loved your word. So even if it wasn't church, it was church. No, it was church light, but wisdom powerful. So I appreciate that so much. All of our families, our partners, our guests, this is a celebration for our graduates, but this is also an acknowledgement of how much you believe and support. So we are so happy that you are here. My Durham Tech team, none of this is possible without all of that flexibility, pivoting, running around, looking for classes, ensuring that everyone is okay. Does not happen. So I would really ask you to stand and be acknowledged. I thought I saw Mr. G. Ms. Patricia Johnson. We were talking about those wonderful vision boards and financial literacy. Our instructor, Ms. Germany McNeil. You all heard quite a bit from Ms. Vega Swepson, another instructor and also coordinating. But nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. See how while I'm talking over here, there's a setup crew over here? Nothing happens. We have our own, so that's primarily the Hayti setup crew. Nothing happens in this building, in this college, without my own setup crew. Where's Miss Margaret? She is also our sergeant at arms. And last but not least, I see you hiding. You know you can duck, but you can't hide. Our connective glue, Miss Wanda Sutton. Miss Sutton is responsible for getting your registrations to Miss Carmen so that you all can get paid. So that's off to her. And I would also like to acknowledge if there are any other Durham Tech faculty staff in the room who partner with us. I see Dr. Makara Sessoms. And last but certainly not least, as I said from the onset, one of our great champions for this program, certainly a great support and wonderful boss for me, Mr. Jerry Jones. As Ms. Swepson said, you all have set the mark and the bar really high for who comes behind you. Oh, one last thing. I did want to acknowledge there are quite a few previous cohort students in the room. If you would all just stand and be acknowledged. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Always good to see you. And again, let's keep this going. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. If you don't know all of our graduates, please take some time to congratulate the graduates, learn about their goals, and as Steve Chalmers, my police chief, says, please, let's keep Hayti going. So however you can support, please lend your support to this wonderful, wonderful Hayti Reborn and the Bridge program. All right, thank you. We have some refreshments, but listen, we have 2 reverends in the house. But we will ask our guests to please bless the food.
Let us pray. Father God, we just thank you for that touch of love that woke us up this morning, Lord. Lord, we thank you for this gathering. We thank you for the fellowship. And God, we thank you for those that came on through the program. Thank you for all the support that has been here on this day. Now, God, we ask you to bless this food. Let it be for the nourishment of our physical bodies. This is our prayer in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.